have Warehouse and Amperion managed to create some speakers that either equal or surpass the legendary Vintage 30? Well, spoiler alert, the answer is yes, kinda. So this is going to be a very interesting video indeed. So what we're going to do today, obviously, is compare the legendary Celestion Vintage 30 to a bunch of speakers that were sent out to me by Warehouse, Guitar Speakers USA, and Amperian Speakers. So thanks to them for sending these over. Now, why am I featuring speakers by Warehouse and Amperion? Well, they're basically sister brands. Amperion isn't a brand under Warehouse or anything like that. They are separate brands, but I think that they're basically built by the same people. And they wanted me to try some stuff, including one prototype. Now the brand Amperion, that's a brand that is very new to me, but I have heard of Warehouse speakers prior to making this video, and I heard great things about them. All the speakers are made in the USA, and a lot of their speakers are supposed to be equal or better than the legendary V30. So yeah, you know, that's also why we're just going to compare them all to the Vintage 30. Now, of course, the V30 is the baseline, right? That's the speaker that we all know. So that's why I'm going to compare all these speakers against the V30. But I want to urge you to keep an open mind and open ears, basically, and try to listen objectively, right? I know a lot of you think the V30 is the best speaker ever, which, you know, I kind of agree with. I love that speaker so much. But a lot of the speakers that we're going to take a listen to today really are equal or maybe even better, depending on your taste anyway. And we're going to do a high gain tone, of course, with the ENGL Special Edition Founders Edition, one of the finest amplifiers ever made. It's much easier to hear the differences between the speakers if you're using a high gain tone, because all the frequencies are basically filled up and smeared out. The tone is less dynamic, and that's why it's much easier to hear the frequency differences between all the speakers. And I'm just a sucker for high gain tones, so there's that as well. Now, the guitar that I'm using is my Balaguer Espada Limited 2024 into the lead one channel of the ENGL Special Edition Founders Edition with the high gain switch on and also the mega low punch on and the noise gate as well. Settings are basically around noon for the EQ, bumped up the treble just a bit as well as the mids. Presence is at around 1 o'clock or so, and gain is at around 2 o'clock or so. Really good sounding, and this should serve really well as a platform to try all these speakers out. I'm not going to change the amp settings throughout the video, so for each single speaker, the amp settings will remain the same. The amp will be fed into my Grossmann Fatbox 1x12 cabinet, and all the speakers will be mic'd up with the same mics on the same positions, which are 2 SM57s and 1 MD421 Kompakt. And I'm also going to keep the levels consistent between all the speakers of the microphones, so the balance between the microphones, with one exception, and that will be the WGS12L speaker, because that's a speaker that sounds a little bit different than the others. But for all the other speakers, I'm going to keep everything consistent, okay? And everything will be level matched as well. We've got two guitars going on, one pan to the right side and the other to the left side, and I am applying a low cut at 80 Hertz for all the speakers here. So that's all the basic info, I guess. We're going to start by taking a listen to the Warehouse Veteran 30 speaker, which is a speaker that I bought recently, so that's the only one that they didn't send out. And let me read you some information from the official website. So this is a 60-watt speaker, and the website says, the 12-inch Veteran 30 speaker from WGS is tonally superior to Celestion's Vintage 30. The tonal improvement is in the upper mids. The Veteran 30 speaker has smoothed out the upper mid spike notorious in the Vintage 30 speaker. Some bold statements there. According to Warehouse, they've improved upon the Vintage 30. So this is going to be very interesting. Let's take a listen. Check it out. Okay, that sounded really good. I was definitely impressed. Does it sound better than the V30? I don't know, that's subjective. Let me know your thoughts. I thought it sounded really good though. It sounds quite even indeed, and there isn't really a spike going on. It's a bit more open and bright sounding, and it also has a very nice growl in the mids. So I can definitely say that I love this speaker a lot. Very balanced, again, and very in your face. And it works really well with this amplifier at least. So there's that. Is it better? I don't know. Again, I will leave that up to you guys, but I'm sure that some of you will prefer this over the Vintage 30. So yeah, that's a really cool one. Now let's move on to the Warehouse Retro 30, a speaker that's supposed to sound pretty similar to the Veteran 30. And let's see what the website has to say. Now it's a 75-watt speaker. The 12-inch Retro 30 speaker is a brighter and more articulate version of the WGS Veteran 30 speaker. The Retro 30 also boasts deeper and tighter bottom end. This speaker is extremely versatile and comes alive on the Dirty channel. For those who love to mix speakers, you should pair this with the Reaper or the ET65. ET phone home. Let's go ahead and take a listen. Check it out. Interesting. This one also sounded great. Not the same as the Veteran 30, so that was interesting. The mids seem a bit more full and the tone overall seems to be a little bit more thick, but still very balanced and with a nice and throaty mid-range again. It's just like a different flavor, so a different taste, you know? So again, let me know your thoughts. What do you think of the Retro 30 in comparison to the Vintage 30? Alright, next up is the Warehouse Reaper HP 50. Let's see what the website has to say. So it's a 50-watt speaker. The 12-inch high-powered Reaper HP is designed to go where the 30-watt version couldn't, so the 30-watt version of the Reaper. If you want a good clean tone with just the right amount of breakup at medium-high volume, then this is your speaker. The 50-watt version is both warmer and more powerful than the 30-watt version. All right, let's go ahead and check it out. Take a listen. Very nice. Again, a speaker that sounds very balanced across the board. No weird spikes or anything like that. This one is a bit brighter to my ears. So more forward basically, and the mid-range character is just different. Again, another flavor, but definitely also very good sounding here. Really nice. Next up is a prototype, so a speaker that has not been released yet as of right now, and that is the Invader HV65. So I don't have a lot of information about this speaker as it's not on the website just yet. So let's just go ahead and take a listen. Check it out. That sounded really good. Nice and chunky, and again, a nice and full range with no odd spikes or anything like that. It sounds very open, and yeah, I enjoy the character. Again, a really good speaker. Is it getting boring? You know, the fact that every speaker so far is just sounding really good? I don't mind it. I love it. And then the final warehouse speaker of this video, the WGS12L, which is kind of based on the EVM 12L. Let's see what the website has to say. Now, of course, this is a 200 watt speaker, so it's quite different in that regard. It's also very big, chunky, and heavy. Headroom, clarity, balance, response, power. These terms have become synonymous with a vintage American design that is known and sought the world over. WGS now pays tribute to this classic with our WGS12L. However, like all of our designs, we didn't set out to make a clone. So they basically wanted to make it their own a little bit and make it sound a bit less lifeless and a bit more sweet. This is going to be a very different speaker, so the mic blends are going to be different. It's a bit of a darker speaker overall, very even though. So this time SM57 number 1, which is the brightest SM57, is a lot louder than the other mics to compensate a little bit here. Let's take a listen. So yeah, that was interesting, and it sounded better than I was expecting, to be honest. So if I were to use this, you know, in a full mix or something, I would move the mics around a little bit, but I wanted you guys to hear the difference. Okay, so it's a bit darker sounding, but it is very even sounding indeed. But it also has a sweet character, so it's not as sterile as I was expecting. But as they say, you know, they tweaked the speaker so that it does sound a bit sweeter than the original, which it is kind of based on. All right, now let's move on to the Amperian speakers. And we're going to start out with the Explorer 65. The Amperian website says that this 65-watt speaker was designed to provide a fully immersive experience. These versatile drivers project robust warmth, detail, and clarity throughout their generous voicing. Single notes are thick with dense musicality, while chords ring with exceptional definition, a perfect pairing with down-tuned guitars and high gain. So let's just go ahead and take a listen. Check it out. And again, another speaker with a wonderful and even and balanced sound that I really enjoy. A great contender to the V30 once again. And again, just a different character going on, you know what I mean? Nothing too drastically different from the others, aside from the 12L. It sounds full and warm, but still very balanced. So yeah, this speaker is going to pair well with amplifiers that are a little bit more edgy, I think. Now let's check out the Revolution 65. And let's see what the website has to say about this Amperian speaker. The Revolution series provides the most sought-after Brit tones with a touch-sensitive dynamic range that offers versatility, clarity, shimmering treble, and a formidable low end to the mid-range foundation. Cool. So yeah, it's a 65-watt speaker, and let's just go ahead and take a listen to this final speaker. wonderful once again. So this one rounds off the collection quite well, I think. Again, just a different flavor going on, but still very full and thick and very even and balanced, but it has its own character. Again, without standing out too much in certain frequency areas. Really impressive. So what are my thoughts? Well, I enjoyed them all in their own ways. Obviously the 12L is a little bit different than the others, but it's a unique sounding speaker and, you know, it's 200 watts and all that stuff. But all the others are great contenders to the Vintage 30 in my opinion. I don't think that they sound worse than the V30. Do they sound better? That's just hard to say, you know. I'd love to leave that open for you guys. I'd love to know which ones were your favorites and why. So definitely let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. But I'm very impressed indeed. I think that they all sound really good. Again, nothing weird going on, no weird spikes. Nice and open, nice and full, nice balance. Very, very usable, all of them, every single one. So yeah, definitely very good contenders to the legendary Celestion Vintage 30 indeed. I love it. So let me know your thoughts. Also, please drop a like and subscribe down below, as that really helps the channel out. I'd really appreciate it. You can also follow Sonic Drive Studio on Facebook and Instagram, or check out my web store where I sell impulse responses for a bunch of different speakers. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you guys soon as well. Cheers, take care.